Or do you want to hold it? Because you're less tall than me.
Okay.
Yeah, like this. Okay. I hope the audio works. Wait. Like try like this. Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching the first Flights of Fancy episode with video. As you can see, I will try to do this more often, where we get an image of what's going on in my glorious international show. So here we are. I'm with my latest guest, Aïshyta. Pleased very much. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Well, it was very nice doing this podcast. I enjoyed it very much. It was nice talking about myself, so to say.
But that's what everyone likes.
Yeah, no, but it was kind of weird to talk about myself, to be honest.
But it's still coming though, because right now this is the beginning of the video.
Yeah.
So let's just pretend we still have to start, right?
Okay.
So we're so excited to be doing this, right?
I'm going to talk about myself, and I hope you enjoy me talking about myself.
So, what would you say to others that is the most important thing that other people learn about you?
I hope you learn from me that you should just be yourself, speak about what you want, and it doesn't matter what others think.
Awesome, and that's not at all classic too. And we can get to enjoy the nice canal too. But also we link to her Instagram and other social media maybe, so you can get even more Insta famous, right?
I'm not famous.
Oh yeah, you didn't want to be Insta famous, right? Why not? I mean, don't you want all the fame?
Not really. I mean, I don't want fame. I would like support.
Yeah.
Let's say that. I want support. I want people to critically tell me this is bad or this is really good and how to improve.
Please, internet community, we beg for your support. We beg for it. All right, awesome. And be welcomed to the 4th English episode, and an episode I'm really excited about, because as you can already tell, what you're seeing right now is not just boring, stupid audio, but you're actually seeing video. Woo! And that's of course why all the YouTubers would ever want to watch anything, because who needs a podcast which is unsuitable to people with short attention spans when you can see video. And right now I'm walking, as we already announced. We already did a brief introduction, so I shall shut the fuck up and let the guest of honor speak. Be welcomed, Aïshyta.
Hello Tim, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you for asking. When I first met you, I already asked you, hey, how do I pronounce your name? So I already kind of tactfully waited for you to pronounce it. Because you mentioned it's not, well, you are from Aruba, but it's not an Aruban
No, it's
name.
not a Aruban name. It's actually, my dad got it from a dream. It was my name was supposed to be Aïshyta because it's African. I don't know, my dad says it's African.
Like vaguely African, not even from a specific.
No, it's just African. Yeah, it's African and he got it in a dream. And
he got it in a dream?
In a dream,
wow.
Yeah. And it means the all-seeing eye.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, but it was supposed to be Aïshyta, like Aïshyta.
Yeah.
But then my mom's like, no, it's not really feminine. So put the I and so put the trema on the I and then make it an A at the back. So Aïshyta.
Stupid sexist mother.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, I would hate myself if my name was Aïshyta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's so exotic to me, I couldn't tell anyway. Nice, but then again, you're not really spiritual yourself. Well, you are spiritual, but you're not really that religious.
No, I'm not religious. No.
How would you feel though about the idea of a third eye? Does that have meaning to you?
A third eye. I mean, my mom thinks I'm very woke.
Woke?
Woke.
Yeah?
Yeah, because she says that I can feel things. Like
and can you?
Bad energy and things. Well, sometimes I can, because sometimes I see like orbs and things like that.
Orbs?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like on Aruba, I did see them on Aruba. Like I would feel bad energy or like spirits and things like that.
Oh, and do you still believe you can? Or was there a change?
I think in the Netherlands it's not like a thing to have like haunted places, so I don't feel much, no.
Oh, but there are in Aruba.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Why is that?
Because on Aruba, there are always bad ghosts around. Like every place you can turn to, there's like someone who died there, and
So, yeah, so what you mean is that just because there are more bad things that
yeah,
happen.
exactly. Like there's a hospital, there's a place that I used to go with my friends, and it's an abandoned hospital site. So you can imagine how many people must have died there. So like when you go there, you can really feel like it's really tense. And even though it's an open space, you can feel like there's pressure on you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But then to just be a bit of the devil's advocate, so to say, there's also this element of bias involved, right? Like
Yeah.
you already know
No,
in advance.
exactly. You would know
Therefore,
in advance. But there was a friend that could actually see spirits, and she was like, "Yeah, I can see it." Okay, sure.
well, one of your teenage friends in Aruba.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, she could actually feel and see them. But I just felt energy, not. But I don't really care because I can go out at midnight and walk, and I don't really care.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a courageous, strong woman who don't need no man.
Exactly. I was thinking about changing my last name to Sicht because I only know man.
Oh, as in you.
My surname, yeah, Sichtman.
Okay.
So I just changed it to Sicht.
Would you feel it is as easy for you to make friends with girls as with boys, or
It's
not?
easier for me to make friends with guys.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because guys are not like, they don't have much requirements or things like that.
Girls do?
Yeah, girls are like, oh, we need to go buy makeup and things like that. I'm like, I don't even put on eyeshadow.
Hey, Aïshyta, let's buy makeup.
Like,
I want to buy makeup together.
Yeah,
Can we?
I can't do that. Don't take me to a makeup store because I'll be a fool.
Yeah?
I cannot even draw my eyebrows.
Aren't you wearing makeup now, though? A little bit?
No, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, that shows how much I know about it. So speaking of Aruba, you lived there from 7 till 19.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Aruba was one of the greatest places and also one of the weirdest places I've ever lived. I've never imagined to live so long on Aruba, but I've met most of my greatest friends on Aruba, and I love them dearly.
Are you still in touch with them?
Yeah, most of them moved here,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
and
because
the rest is moving in a few years or months. So
how old are you now?
I'm 20, turning 21 in the summer.
And for the uneducated people who don't know, Aruba is kind of part of the Netherlands, but also not really, right?
Yeah, it's part of the kingdom, so people in Aruba carry a Dutch passport. They're Dutch citizens. But yeah, we do not have, well, not we, I do have the right to vote, but people from Aruba do not have the right to vote in the Dutch elections and vice versa.
It's still interesting that you say we, because it shows also this sense of identity.
Yeah, sometimes I do in some situations I do identify with Aruba because I mean most of my life has been spent on Aruba, but then again sometimes I feel like I'm not even affiliated with the mentality and the culture.
Yeah, so I imagine you have this classic like split identity.
Yeah,
also.
exactly. I do feel like I have a not identity disorder, but I do feel like I'm two different people when I'm on Aruba and when I'm here in the Netherlands.
But actually where I wanted to go is that also when you came to Aruba, then you somewhat felt during your years there that people didn't fully accept you because you are this Dutch girl, even though your skin isn't white, but they still
Identify
saw you
as Dutch,
saw you as an outsider. But then in the Netherlands, the exact same thing happens too. I imagine that people don't see you as fully Dutch, right?
Actually, when I came back, I expected it to be like, oh, you're Dutch, but you're not white. But actually, people were like, it doesn't. For instance, my housemate, I'm like, yeah, I'm Dutch, but I'm not white. She's like, what? Like she's like, what maakt het uit? Like, what does it matter?
Exactly.
Like, you were born here. You're just as much Dutch as I am.
Oh, so that was like a good surprise.
Yeah, exactly. And my school as well. My last module class, the kids were like, I told them, yeah, I'm from the Netherlands. I was born in Rotterdam, but I've lived most of my life on Aruba, so you can't really call me Dutch. You're like, it doesn't matter to if you can speak Dutch, you're Dutch to me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what struck you a little bit in education is that, well, first of all, the education levels there seem to be the same. So you have MAVO, HAVO, VWO, just like you have here, but the levels were a bit different, right?
Yeah. For me, starting school back again was kind of hard because I hadn't been to school for 10 months because I was living in Belgium and then I had like a break. And when I started school back again, I was like, oh, wow, I have to really plan my life in again. You have tests, deadlines, and things like that. It's just the same, but yeah, now went from an associate's degree to a second year bachelor, so I didn't even have a time to like settle in the first year.
Yeah.
So it's just like hardcore right away.
And apparently you are a know-it-all.
I'm not. I don't know anything. Sorry, I feel.
But what about the story with file? Like that's
Oh yeah, the
so
story
weird.
of the file. So I was in 6th grade and the teacher was reading out to us in Dutch. She was reading, the cars are in the file, but if you translate it to Dutch, it's like the auto's staan in the file. But she's literally said the auto's staan in the file. And I raised my hand and I told her, no, it's actually file. And she's like, no, but the word says file. I'm like, no, it's file. So I had like a little discussion with my teacher about file and file.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so crazy that she must have taught that to so many students.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the teachers were like really threatened by this, I imagine.
Yeah, but she's a good teacher, so I don't think she took it by the heart.
No,
I hope not.
but still, some teachers were still dicks, right?
Yeah, some teachers were dicks. I mean, I had a lot of clashes with some teachers at school. Once because I had to take the bus and she wouldn't let me out of the class, so I just took the back door out of class.
Oh,
And then she told me, with your attitude like this, I'm not gonna give you recommendation to go to HAVO.
wow.
And she didn't.
Did she actually have that power though?
Yeah, she does. She's my mentor. She has the power. So I didn't go to HAVO and I still hate her until this day.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, I always think about that, you know, like how it's so weird. And I see that in Dutch education too. Like, teachers should be aware of the fact that young students are human
Yeah.
people too with feelings rather than just being bugs that they can like squash
Yeah, exactly.
in a way. So that frustrates me so much.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is something that probably broke me the most in high school, like not being able to go to HAVO. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, levels of education don't mean much and as long as you prove yourself right. But after that, I just stopped being the best of my class and I just slacked a little bit.
And now you do Stenden in Leeuwarden,
Yeah.
hospitality management.
Yeah, I study international hospitality management at Standen University. And
Wait, yet something that struck you about Aruba is that people were close-minded, as you say
yes,
it.
they're still close-minded up to today. Up to right now, they're still close-minded.
In what way?
In the sense of equality and justice for everyone. In the sense of every man and woman having the same rights. Every gay man and woman having the same rights as every straight man and woman. And also, they're not pro-choice.
I think the listener right now would immediately assume that you're gay.
I'm not. I think I'm not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know.
But still, it's an important topic to you.
Yeah, because most of my friends are gay. Yes, definitely.
Why?
Yeah.
As in, is it just coincidence, or were you do you like that? Well, I'm about to say, do you like that type of people more? But then I realized that's incredibly bigoted if I would say that, because one of the biggest points of, I don't know, equality is to realize they're just people too.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, they happen to be gay, but I love them regardless of if they were straight. I think they would be great people if they were straight, but I love them.
But still, if I would go so far to think that it is a type of people, I clearly don't think it is, but still something that they would have in common with one another is that they're still a bit of a, I don't know, like they are a bit outcast in the sense that most people don't accept them, and that also impacts how they are, you know, that they're a bit...
You mean like in a shell?
No, yeah. That they're a bit like broken off in a sense that they really at a young age already needed to develop a really strong identity and be resilient towards people who, you know, don't accept them and so on. I could imagine that is a trait that you would see.
It probably could be like they're very outspoken. They really believe in what they stand for. Yeah. In that sense.
So how would you see that exactly, and how people interact with one another in Aruba, that they're close-minded?
Well, they're close-minded, but they don't actually say things out loud. They wouldn't tell you, "Oh, I don't want to deal with you because
Yeah,
you're
there are a
gay."
lot of unspoken
Yeah,
taboos.
it's very unspoken. It's very most things are very unspoken on Aruba, but then you would find out because something got like leaked or probably that's how most things come to light on Aruba because one person decided to it was enough and they stood up for themselves.
Huh. And you saw it in the games that kids were playing when you came there. Well, that's a bit more towards the topic of you being an outsider. It's like the Dutch girl who moved there.
Yeah.
There were like these hand games, you know?
Yeah, like let's say patty cake and for instance, if you come from the Netherlands, you would know the ones you play in the Netherlands, but on Aruba they have their own. So asking people to teach you how to play the games was like a no-go because first of all, you don't speak the language and they speak your language a little bit worse than you do. So it's really complicated. So most of the times I was just left there being myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
another topic, you also really enjoy literature. Well,
Yes.
you've been reading since a very young age. What's
Yes.
that all about?
I mean, I love indulging myself in books because sometimes I just always liked escaping for a while. Like you could give me a book and give me a deadline for a week, but I would have, if it's a really good book, I would have it done in 4 hours, 5 hours. Like
A whole book in 5 hours.
yeah, if it's a good book and not like 300 pages, I think I could finish it.
Yeah.
I just need to sit there, have everything I need. I mean, I would take breaks, of course, not that crazy, but
What type of books would it be?
it's just the book just has to catch me. It just has to get my attention. I just read the back of the book all the time or like the first description of the book, and if it's really good, I'll just read it like straight away.
And especially the elements with dark at the start.
Yeah, I
light
love
at the
dark
end.
books.
What does that mean?
What dark books?
Yeah.
Like they touch topics that are not they're not always about putting flowers on everything. They're like really raw, like very gory. Like this book I'm reading, it's like it literally described how a guy broke his neck and died on a rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that called?
More Than This by Patrick Ness.
Huh.
Yeah. So
What do you like about that?
well, the book
Isn't that depressing?
it's not. It's reality. Well, not that I'm gonna die breaking my neck, but it's reality that people die like that and
Yeah.
how it must feel. Because you would never know. You never know how it feels to die unless this was described to you.
So does that mean you would not be into fantasy books?
I could read fantasy books as well.
But not as much?
Not as much, no. I mean, I've read Harry Potter books, so it's kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about reading Fantastic Beasts. I might have found
Oh,
it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And now you read a lot of young adults.
Yeah, young
books.
adult
Yeah.
books. So
What is it about the young adult?
they're like
genre that
you can
catches you?
relate to them. So the current books that are in trend right now are like 13 Reasons Why, like everyone's obsessed with that, or The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So those two books are currently like the hype. So every teenager probably must have read it, but I read it before it was the hype. So yeah.
You read it before it was cool.
Yeah, literally, I read them.
You should put your fedora on.
Yeah, tips for Dora. So yeah, I read those books way before they were even a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
Or I like, it's kind of a funny story, but it's not.
Yeah.
Well, that's the book is called It's Kind of a Funny Story. It's a book about teens who are depressed, but then they like each other. But actually, I'm very sad about this book because the guy who wrote it was depressed and he did commit suicide.
Who was that?
I don't even remember the artist, the author.
But before we move away from Aruba entirely, well, you already moved away from Aruba, but I think also something that was really telling about kind of the mentality on Aruba is your story with how you criticized Carnival on Twitter at one point.
Yeah,
Because to me it also kind of showed this so-called village mentality where everyone knows what the other is doing
exactly.
and so on.
So yeah, I was 16 years old, and I decided that, well, a couple of friends, we always do this every year. We go on Twitter and we like rant or talk crazy shit, but we're teens, so we're allowed to do that, I think. As long as we're not hurting anyone in the process, I believe you are allowed to speak your mind. So I tweeted something, and the girl who was participating found my tweet somehow, somewhere, and then she screenshotted it, put it on Instagram, and then from Instagram it went viral. Probably viral on Aruba. Like I was getting, I didn't get that.
What exactly did you say? With what tone?
It was in a bitchy tone, like it's like a sassy bitchy tone.
Yeah.
But I can't.
But just something along the lines of, well, the carnival sucks or something. Or
yeah, it was
pointless,
it was something somewhat like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember which tweet it was, but if I would find it, I would laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I am very into dark humor.
Yeah, and then?
And then it went viral, so people started posting, not even teens anymore, it went on to adults who are like very known in the carnival, in the carnival name. They screenshotted, put my Facebook profile on it and said like, why am I in the youth parliament of Aruba if I have this behavior?
Yeah, that's so fucking insane.
Like it was a couple of tweets. Like,
by a 16-year-old.
You can't judge me based on, well, you can, but I don't.
Yeah.
You can't judge me based on one thing I said and make my life try to make my life miserable by kicking me out of a youth parliament.
Yeah.
So, but that never happened. So I stayed in the youth parliament as long as I did. Yeah, and things like that. And I even went on one of the hottest radio shows on Aruba. Well, I didn't go, but they mentioned my story on there. And I was just going to school and minding my own business.
You even were forced to write an apology letter.
Yeah, I wasn't forced, but they recommended it to me.
Quote unquote recommended.
Yeah, they recommended it to me. A girl's parents called me and they were like, yeah, we understand that you're a teenager, but these things cannot be said. You've really hurt the people and things like that. I'm like, okay, if they're hurt, they can tell me themselves, right? Because the people who were like practically involved in the tweets didn't even care.
All right.
They didn't even care.
Yeah.
It was the people who were older, who were doing the carnival things for years. They were the ones who were like they got their feelings hurt, I think. So yeah, I had to write an apology letter. And I don't know if it was taken, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, crazy village mentality, but hopefully the people in Aruba won't catch hold of this YouTube episode and then like mock you even more.
I wouldn't care that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share? Back to your reading. We're jumping to and fro. Anything you want to share on your reading passions? Anything we still haven't talked about?
No, I just love writing as well. Yeah.
In your whole development of transitioning to a shy little young girl to a strong independent woman who don't need no man. You did transition a bit that you could speak out more.
Yeah, I did learn how to like stand up more for myself or speak my mind more often. After the thing with the carnival, I just kept on speaking my mind. I still do most of the times. Maybe it might not come off nicely to someone else, but I just have to say what I feel if I feel something.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's really good trait, because I can imagine it also could have turned out the opposite way. Then that when you have these kind of experience, you just become more closed off, because the world has scared you.
Yeah.
So what's your secret? How have you turned it upside down? Now have you flipped the tables on them?
Well, I just kept on. I wrote that apology, and I kept on tweeting. I made my Twitter. I protected my tweets, so I think that's the secret. Like the people I want to have them read my tweets can read them, but if you're not affiliated with me, then I don't want you to read my tweets to not hurt your feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I keep on writing. And when I write whatever I want, as you might have read my article.
Yeah.
I write whatever I feel like, and it might be funny or...
Oh, can we link to that?
Yeah?
Yeah, Tinderella?
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're into writing too, since you're young. I must say you're really all over the place in terms of creativity, like poetry, writing, photography. But yeah, there's this Tinderella article too.
Yeah.
Would you care to talk about it or not? I can always cut.
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
out.
we can talk about it. Like
Okay.
what do you want to know like,
Well,
specifically?
what was a story in the article about?
Well, it was about a guy that I met on Tinder. Funny, because I met you on Tinder. No, but this guy was mental. Like, he was a little crazy. And I ended up in a relationship with him for 6 days, specifically. I beat Kim Kardashian. That's what
Yeah.
I can say. So I ended up in a relationship with a crazy guy who was in love with me, but I was not even, not even into him, to say the least.
Yeah, it's like this really awkward,
Like
story.
one-sided story, yeah.
No, but yeah, like it actually reminds me of a certain comedy show where a guy like says yes to a marriage proposal because it would be awkward to turn it down or something.
So then he ends up in a marriage.
Yeah.
He just, wow, yeah.
But I mean, it was kind of how that went with you too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't. The thing is, he asked me, so you don't want a relationship with me? I said no, that's not true. In the sense of, I wanted to continue my sentence of like, no, that's not true. It's not that I want a relationship with you. I don't want a relationship with anybody. And I couldn't finish my sentence, and then it was posted on Facebook, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm in a relationship.
Wait, so he already. So after you said that one fake sentence, he immediately like updated his relationship.
Yeah,
with that.
exactly.
How clueless is that?
He was like, yes. He's like, okay, so it's settled. I'm like, what's settled? He's like, the relationship. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna put it on Facebook. And I'm like, why? He's like, because I want people to know that I can also get a girlfriend. I'm like, okay.
Wait, he actually said that to you? How fucking low was his self-esteem?
I don't know, pretty fucking low, I can say.
I want people.
Yeah, he literally said, cause I want people to see that I can also have a girlfriend. I'm like, okay, sure.
Oh, that invites me to share one of the wisdoms of the guru of life, Tim, because I have a great wisdom to share with you all. This is the secret to life. Everyone doesn't give a fuck what you do because all everyone thinks about is their own problems, you know? But we always walk around thinking that everyone is really focused on us because we're the center of the universe. And I think a guy thinking stuff like that that's what happens there too. Like he thinks he's the center of the universe, and the most important thing is to other people is whether he has a girlfriend or not, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I can say. But I think I was his most decent girlfriend ever because he showed me his other girlfriends and they're like crackheads, to say the least. They look like crackheads to me.
Aren't you a crackhead?
I'm not a crackhead.
Just teasing.
I don't do crack.
Only a little bit, right? In the morning with your coffee.
Have I done crack? Yesterday, but that doesn't make me a
Yeah,
crackhead.
that's obviously, I mean, just 3 times a week, that's normal.
That's a routine. It doesn't define me.
By the way, to all the people who didn't pick up, that was sarcasm. Speaking of creativity, what else do you write about?
I write poems about...
Oh yeah, you were gonna read a poem.
Okay.
Or a few, whatever you can find.
You can... Well, I'm gonna let you choose one and then...
No, you should choose.
No.
Whatever you feel most passionate about.
Okay, I have a poem. This one, I'm gonna read it.
And don't read too fast.
Okay. He calls me his woman while I still feel like a child. In the eyes of my father, I am not a princess, I am a warrior. In the eyes of my mother, I am a saint while I play with the devil. I'm a vixen for your touch, a dandelion in the wind. I am lost, still exactly where I need to be. I'm not sure if it will ever be made, when my train will allow to remain, or how long it would take to be covered. The only thing I am sure of is that I'm on the right path of all the beautiful things yet to be discovered. It was first written in Dutch, actually. That was the translation. So you want to hear the Dutch one?
Well, yeah, but the English listeners don't.
Yeah, okay, nice. So it's fine. You need more?
Yeah.
More, okay. Discovery. Long, lonely, sleepless night never seemed to end. A day full of false pretend. Each day I have to hold on, for I might bend. I am delicate, I am weak. The brighter future is all I seek. I try to change, I try not to worry. All I bring is wrath and worry. Tomorrow I try again, this time for sure. Then tomorrow comes and all is a blur. After a vicious cycle of deceit and deception, I have come to realize I must change my perception. Okay, this was the continuation of the poem. Don't look for a day when everything will be alright. Stop looking for the future as a place to hide. Fear is the evil thing that keeps you trapped, making it hard for you to adapt. But know this, tomorrow may never come because all you really have guaranteed is today. Be who you want to be and say what you want to say. Life's too short to wait for another day. Here and now is all you've got. Stop sulking around and just give it a shot. I wrote during the summer. It may be 16 degrees, but the sun is shining and the ducks go quack. Time to put on our shorts, so there's no time to hold back. Hop on our bicycles to go buy some popsicles. Get all your oil bread to feed the duckies. Swim in the pond because that's the summer life of us Dutchies.
Nice. There's actually two comments I want to make.
okay.
The first is that I think it's nice how you still use basic rhyme patterns.
Yeah.
But whenever I hear or I make basic rhyme patterns, that always gives me the feeling that it's somehow like cheap or kitsch or something. But I don't have that here, which is a nice combination. So I think it's a big challenge to still use the words in poetry in a basic rhyme pattern while not making it sound cheap. But you do manage to do that, and I think it's good. And the other comment is that theme or a pattern that I think I detect in all the poems is that it's really personal and straightforward. So you kind of describe how you develop in something emotionally. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
Are there also any other things that you would like to say about your poems?
Yeah, because my poems, sometimes I use them, like I write to escape, like so to say, let's say escape. So I write about how I'm feeling, but in the poem I want to give myself advice as well. So that's how I have a conversation with myself, so I write poems. But I also want to use my poetry so other people who might have the same thought, but it's not something specific because it could be anything. It could be feeling just sad for whatever reason. But I use my poetry so other people can also relate and be like, oh, okay, like it's alright. You can be sad, but there's like you can do this. Like don't wait around and sulk. Like you can just live today because that's all you have.
The advice to yourself thing in a way that could also be a memento. So then you read it from back when you wrote it and then you remember, oh yeah, this is an advice in that way?
This is actually the first time I've read back poetry. I usually write them and post them and I don't really
forget them.
Yeah, I forget them, but they're all in my iCloud, so
nice.
They're saved.
And then another artistic topic, photography, that you actually have a business with also, so to say, that you actually make money with assignments already in Aruba too, but here as well.
Yeah, I only made I only got paid once here for a wedding, but yeah, I use my photography to capture moments to make them last forever, of people, of places, everything. It's because everything has beauty in it, and that's what I want to capture.
Yeah, my first thought or intuition then is, well, there's this choice that you have to make as photographer between capturing reality and doing something else. And you lean more towards the capturing reality side.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way, I think we are kindred spirits in that way, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do here in this whole episode. Like, capture reality rather than making a product to entertain or something. Well, that's entertaining to me, obviously. But then you still go on by adding creative thoughts, I think, because you mentioned a certain spark that is
Yeah,
hidden in all
exactly.
the small
Yeah,
things.
exactly. It's like every picture I take, I could take the whole picture, or I could just focus on an element of what I have in front of me or besides me. So, for instance, let's say about flowers. I could just take a picture of a whole flower field, but if I go stand a little bit closer, I can focus on one flower and see how those petals are, and that's the beauty. Like, it doesn't have to be the whole picture, but sometimes one element of the bigger picture is beautiful.
Beauty in detail.
Yeah.
What about technical advice that you could give to people who don't know anything about photography?
I'd say use the light. Like I work with natural light only. I don't like taking pictures in dark places or something like that. I love daylight. So take pictures during the days is what I love. So use your daylight and make use of your space. If you cannot capture something standing in front of it, move a little bit backwards, go to the side, sit down, and you can make beautiful memories.
And what about technical advice in terms of equipment?
It doesn't actually, equipment doesn't really matter, to be honest.
No, I thought it makes a huge difference whether you have good lenses and good camera.
Well, it does, but I mean, if you love doing if you love doing something, the equipment shouldn't matter. Because I could have a very cheap camera, but I can take very beautiful pictures because it's about how you do with the settings, is how much light you have to capture an image.
What is a setting?
The settings are like how much aperture you have on your camera. So you set your camera to manual function, and then you play with the aperture and the shutter speed. Those two things are very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine you also learned a lot by doing a lot of assignments for photography, because you have to adapt to what other people or customers want, so to say.
Yeah, well, I usually just do my own thing and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that very often. Because it's like, if I have to follow a certain set of settings or something, I might feel like that's not my product. So I just try to fiddle around with my camera as much as possible and hope for the best.
And you love taking pictures of people.
Yeah, I love
So
taking pictures of people.
what's so wonderful about that?
Well, people are weird creatures, but beautiful weird creatures.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because a person does not have to speak to you, but if you can just look at their eyes, they can tell you everything. It's very cliche to
What's
say.
so special about their eyes?
Well, eyes can, like, for instance, you know the Mona Lisa painting? Well, she's like the most wonderful picture I've ever seen. Because she doesn't smile, but her eyes, just look at her eyes. They're like wonderful. They're like moving around when you move with her. So with my pictures, I try to capture happiness or sadness or joy, or like I try to do as much as possible with
Yeah,
people.
I'm intrigued by that. I always hear that a lot, obviously. People saying that, like, the eyes are the mirrors of the soul and so
Yeah,
on.
but it's literally true.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that most people seem to believe it's literally true, but it's so hard to imagine for me, because obviously there must be something happening in the brain, or how we
Yeah.
see each other in the brain, that we get to process a certain amount of information just by looking at an eye. But then I wonder, like, where exactly does this happen? Like, what is the exact material aspect of a certain person's eye in a certain person's moment that relays you this information? It's, if it is true that it literally does happen, then it must be incredibly complex and incredibly subtle. I would say, this process where you relay information from one person to another person just through eyes.
Yeah, it's like obviously you can't like get the truth through the eyes, but
You get an
sometimes
intuition.
yeah, like sometimes you're like intrigued because sometimes you see a person, they're just standing there, but they might just be doing something normal, like eating an ice cream, but in that moment, they're the most marvelous thing that I have seen. So I see that in them. Like sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I'm. That's why I love poetry because or writing because I can make up stories. Sometimes I see a person, like I sometimes see a couple, like an old couple. I'm like, how long have they been together? How many children do they have? Was he in the army or things like that? Like I create
Yeah.
a whole story for them, and that's what I like as about writing because you can create as much as you want, and there's nothing stopping you. You can
Yeah.
you can make stories about. I can make a story about a couch, and I made a story last time about coffee, and people didn't even know it was about coffee.
Oh,
It's like
really? But like the adventures that the grains of coffee
yeah, exactly. It's like, let me see
go.
if, yeah. So I'm gonna recite a poem that I wrote about coffee. And before you can conclude what it was, you just have to listen to it. I wake you in the morning. I keep you up at night. I make you feel alive. Because of me, your eyes won't shut without a fight. The bliss of my smell, the strength of my body, my melanin texture, my fluid soul. I only have one goal: keep you going, keep you up. You can't go through the day without my touch. Addicted, a cup of coffee. Yeah. So like you can do
Well,
you can
isn't that pretty clear though? That it's about a cup of coffee.
no, but before that,
Yeah. Okay.
before
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
people were like, "What?" I had to literally put the title because people were like, "Are you addicted to a person?" Because they were like, they keep you up at night. You can't touch them. Like, what is it? Or it could be drugs. People thought it was drugs. So yeah, I'm like, no, it's just coffee. But I'm not even addicted to coffee. I just thought of someone who might be addicted to coffee, and I wrote a
Yeah.
poem about them. So that's like this was like
That's me. The
this was
poem can be about me.
this was probably written in Starbucks, you know?
Yeah.
It was just me looking at a person and I wrote a poem about them.
Huh.
That's what I love about poetry.
Yeah, I think that's nice because it also, like what you were saying before that, how you would write stories or poems about objects or other people that you don't know. It shows kind of involvement with stuff that's happening outside of your own
Yeah.
little world, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good trait.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. You also have a theory on life. Good
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Good things come to you.
Yeah, my theory in life is if you give good things, like not give like physically or tangible, but if you put good out there in your mind and in writing or whatever way, you must receive good back. Like doing good brings good. Like what they say, what goes around comes around. Like you do good, you get good.
Yeah, and then what you mean by good things is just applying yourself to goals that you set, which are especially long-term goals.
Yeah, I also have short-term goals. Yeah, sometimes like for instance, my other goal was like do enough photo shoots to save enough money to buy another lens. And then the photo shoots were really good. I got good feedback from everyone who saw them, and then I was like, okay, so I do deserve a new lens or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then also long-term things like going to school, being vegetarian for a year,
Yeah.
charity work.
Yeah. Like things like that as well.
So if you apply yourself to these things, then you'll be rewarded. By whom? By life? By universe? By God?
By myself.
Ah, so it's basically more like a psychological thing, I would say, where you just say, well, if you do good things, then you feel valuable about yourself. Like you'll be grateful to yourself.
Yeah, I believe you should be good for yourself in the first place, but if you do good for yourself, you also do not cause harm to others. That's like very important.
Yeah. Sometimes you have dark thoughts.
Yes, yeah, dark. You can call them dark thoughts, but I just think a lot. I think it's my problem.
Yeah.
I think too
Are you a
much.
thinker or are you more of a feeler?
Thinker. I think too much.
More of a thinker than a feeler?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts. So that's why I have to write.
Yeah,
or else-
such as one moment where your mom wouldn't call you.
Yeah, it was just stupid. It was like sometimes I get really stupid thoughts. I was like sitting I was in Budapest sitting on a bunk bed, and then it was like New Year's Day, and I was just sitting there. I was supposed to be packing, and I'm like, wait, my mom hasn't called me in 2 days. Like, what if she's dead? Like who thinks of things like that? So, well, yeah, that's me. I just thought of that, and I really wanted to cry. I was like, what if she died? I'm like, but why would you? Like, I asked myself. I literally asked myself, why are you thinking like that? It shouldn't be a problem. You shouldn't think like that. And then I texted her, so she was obviously alive. Yeah, so that's how deep my thoughts get.
Yeah, or for instance, where you would think about all the would-us and should-us, like
Yeah.
what would my life be if I was still in
Yeah.
Aruba?
Yeah, like I think I would do know what my life would be if I was still in Aruba. It would be super chill, laid back life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Aruba's so small. I mean, I have my mom there, my sister, and it's easy to let other people do things for you, like for instance, take you to school or things like that, or wake me up in the morning. But here, I have to wake myself up. I have to get ready for school. I have to take the bus, the train, or I have to ride my bike, and nobody is there to tell me, wake the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
if my alarm goes off and I snooze it, I lose it.
I guess that's also like the classic challenge of becoming an adult.
Yeah, I hate adulting,
Yeah,
but I
me
love it
too.
as well. I mean, it has its pros and its cons, but that's just
That's life.
that's life.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's a good concluding note. I want to thank you very much for listening again to this podcast. Well, I should say listening, but now I should also say watching. I hope you enjoyed the walk. I hope I can get enough light also, because I'm gonna go out and enjoy the outside while it's still kind of dark. Anyway, thank you very much. Now, and don't forget me to give me that like, subscribe, and please do comment. Tell us what you think about photography, art, whatever. Yo. Now it's time for the outro.
She was living on cactus that belonged to her friends. She would sleep with her feet in her shins hanging over the ends, looking over her shoulder, never knowing herself. Acting like she could never fit in till somebody knew.